welcome back to my channel. After you have a baby, you've been through sort of 9 months of growing your baby, we've been through birth, and now that you have rocked pregnancy, birth, let's rock our postpartum phase. So this little video is going to show you some movements that I personally have been doing to sort of regain the stability, the control, and the functionality of my core and my pelvic floor. It should take you about 10 minutes to do from start to finish. I generally will do it with my little baby up on my chest for half of it. Our babies love to be close to us in the very beginning. I always just try and remember that it's a really clever baby as opposed to a baby who's getting in the way of what we're trying to do. So incorporating them into this is not going to be the make or break. Feel free to sort of stop and start the class as you go through. I am not an exercise sort of instructor or a physiotherapist, but my husband is a strength and conditioning coach. So this is the sort of program that he has given me, and I'm simply demonstrating the movements. But coming back to this place where after 2 babies, I have a degree of separation between my abs, we're talking about bringing it back so that eventually I can get out to the playground with my 2 boys and feel strong and like my body is capable of doing those movements without any leakage, without feeling like I've got sort of pressure or any weight in my pelvic floor, and that I can do the movements in a way that isn't going to cause any further damage to this ab separation. So I'm going to dive straight into it with my diaphragmatic breath. This is a nice way to kind of warm up your core and get yourself connected to that body part that maybe you've been out of touch with for a while. This is something that I have been practicing throughout my whole pregnancy in the sort of prenatal Pilates classes that I've been doing, but also on a daily basis to sort of help me get prepped for birth. So for me, there are 2 ways you can practice this. Well, 3 really. You can practice it lying down, you can practice it in an upright position, or you can practice it on all 4s. Just for the case of this video, I'm going to do it on all 4s so you can really see what my body is doing. I recommend starting with 1 or 2 reps and then slowly building it up. So this is also known as hug the baby. I'm going to just walk you through the movements, and please work away and feel like you can stop whenever you need to. So coming back here, I'm starting in the all 4s position. And what we're doing is we're letting our belly go loose and limp. Noticing that I'm keeping my back as flat as I can. So belly relaxes on the inhale. And on the exhale, you're going to draw your belly button up towards your spine. And release. And exhale and draw the belly button towards the spine. So in pregnancy, you're talking about hugging the baby back towards your spine. Outside of pregnancy, you're visualizing everything drawing upwards and inwards, and imagining you're sort of zipping up a jacket or a corset from the belly button all the way up towards the ribs. 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last one, keeping the hips still and that back nice and flat. So you can also practice that in a more upright position. Again, the same concept goes, or lying flat on your back. Now we're going to go with some of our pelvic floor movements. I always recommend starting these sort of movements really early on. So I actually started doing my pelvic floor sort of exercises, or I like to say engaging with my pelvic floor, the morning after birth. That is really soon, so it's only if you're feeling up to it. But simply doing these exercises lying down, maybe while you're feeding your baby, is a great way to actually send that lovely sort of fresh blood flow to that area to bring down any inflammation and get all that excess fluid moving if you've got a little bit of swelling down below. So the way I like to visualize my pelvic floor is like a sort of hammock of muscles that's sort of holding everything up. So what you're doing is you're allowing that sort of hammock and that bed of muscles to relax. And then again on the exhale, you're drawing everything up. Another way to visualize this is like a jellyfish. So you're talking about the jellyfish swimming along, relaxing, and then on the exhale, drawing up and moving through the water. Relax and drawing up. don't expect you to be able to hold this movement for any significant amount of time, but practicing both of those muscle fibers and getting those awakened. So both the fast twitch muscle fibers that you have to use if you're going to be jumping on a trampoline, doing a sneeze, or having a cough, could be really helpful, or is really important, but equally being able to hold and maintain that pressure. So you're talking about doing sort of working your way up to 10-second holds. So for the moment, if you are like me, I'm only a month postpartum. If you are at that point, or maybe even sort of a week or so postpartum, you're talking about even holding for 1 or 2 seconds. Two other ways to kind of, if you're finding it difficult to re-engage with your pelvic floor, is to think about holding if you are holding a wee, so if you are allowing the wee to flow and then you're sort of stopping it mid-flow, or similarly, so if you were stopping yourself from breaking wind, so you're sort of squeezing everything up and sort of imagining drawing all of those muscles up. Another nice way to do it that I heard actually on a fantastic podcast, which I'll try and link down below, is if you were swimming in the Amazon River and there was an eel or a snake or a fish that was trying to enter your body through your vagina and through your bottom, and that you were squeezing those gates closed to try and avoid that. Horrible analogy, but definitely worked for me when I was trying to sort of think about how to re-engage with that body part that maybe I hadn't engaged with in a while in that way. So you're talking about trying to build up those squeezes to sort of 10-second holds, and then 10 of those fast sort of jellyfish holds. And what you're doing there is re-engaging and also sending all that lovely fresh blood flow if you're very early postpartum. The other movement that I do, and particularly this is a nice one for sort of early on as well, is pelvic tilts. So I actually do this lying down. So you're talking about starting by relaxing everything open. So you can see here there's space beneath my back, and then you're going to tilt it the other way. So contracting through the belly. And you can see that nothing is being pushed out. There's no coning or doming of my ab muscles. Tilting backwards, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And while we're in this position, I'm going to allow my knee, one at a time, to relax out to the side. Relaxing on the inhale, and then on the exhale, you're visualizing everything drawing back together and pulling that knee back up using that core. So let's do 3 on each side. Relax, drawing back in. On the other side, relax out, pulling everything back together on the exhale. 1, inhale and exhale. In this position, another really easy one to do that's going to sort of re-engage both your core, your pelvic floor and your glutes is a basic pelvic bridge. So you're talking about having your knees approximately hip width apart, and you're going to place your hands on the ground for a little bit of extra support, and you're going to start with 10 reps. So sort of drawing everything up, squeezing that tummy button to the spine. 1, thinking of pushing through the floor with your heels. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last one I'm going to do, again, you can see that a lot of this can be done when you're either feeding your baby or just snuggling your baby skin to skin, is we're talking about drawing the heel in towards the spine, or in towards your bottom. So you're going to relax it out straight, and then draw it in. 1, the other one. 2, let's go to 10. 3, imagining you're drawing everything back together, using that tool of visualization that you might have used during your birth prep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you so much for joining me for this little 10-minute workout. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you're reminding yourself postpartum. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you want to check out my own postpartum recovery, but also future videos about pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, and everything in between.